ఏం వినపన కూడా వినపడలేదు కదరా? ఏం వినపన కూడా వినపడలా? సౌండే లేదు అంటే. ఉమ్. ఆ.
Everyone, good afternoon. So, is my voice clear for everyone? Guys, feel free to chat, feel free to speak out, or better to use the chat box. Okay. So, if you guys can hear me loud and clear, just ping in chat once.
Yes, sir. You are audible.
Okay, okay. Thank you. Thank you very much. Fine then. So, guys, while we are here, let's just wait for 5 more minutes. We'll wait for everyone to join, and we'll start our session exactly at 4:05. All right, everyone. So let's begin our session for today. Before we start, let me introduce myself. So, hi guys. So my name is Pranal Sarkar. Okay. I am a full stack trainer here at Innomatics Labs, and what we'll be doing today is basically uh, we're looking at how exactly can we crack full stack development interviews. Okay. And just to give you guys a overview, today's session is going to be completely about how what is the industry expecting. So today we are going to have some agendas, and those agendas will be understand what industry is expecting, right? So for those who are applying for full stack roles, for today we will see what exactly our industry is expecting when you are applying for any full stack roles, and then what exactly do we need to learn when we are applying for these roles. Okay, and just to give you guys a baseline, this workshop is completely going to be on Python full stack. Okay, so whatever interview questions and whatever concepts that we will be discussing will be solely on Python full stack. And before we continue, I would just like to know, like I would just like to know about you guys. So just ping in chat, guys, and again, you can use both the chats. Our workshop is live on YouTube as well. So those who are on YouTube, hi guys. And before we continue, let me just know if you guys can see my screen. Okay, that's great. Thank you, guys. Thank you, Shreya. Yeah. So before we continue, let me just know, let me just know my audience here. How many of you guys are you from IT backgrounds? Like, how many of you guys are from BTech or IT courses? You guys can feel free to ping in chat. Okay, CSC, BTech, great. BE, BTech. Okay, fine. CSC. Okay, we have some in CA guys as well. That's great. That's great. And guys, I would suggest if you are raising your hands, that would be if you have any doubts, then I would suggest you to raise your hands. If you don't have any doubts, feel free to use the chat box to communicate. Okay, fine. Okay, fine. That's great. So I see that many of you guys are from BTech, which is great, and which is the best starting point if you're jumping into a full stack as well. So let's begin today's session. Again, just to introduce myself, my name is Vinay Sarkar. I'm a master trainer here at Innomatics. Okay, so I teach Python full stack, and today is going to be all about what do we need to learn, what do we need to focus on to crack interviews in full stack roles. Okay, so let's start, guys. First things first, we will look at what exactly is industry expecting. Now, before we go on to that, let's follow some ground rules when we are in this workshop. Okay, so these are the rules. Again, I'm not saying you have to follow this. I'm just saying that it's better if we have a decorum, right? So just listen very attentively, because it's a short workshop, 2 hours workshop, and this same workshop will continue tomorrow as well, which I hope you guys have been informed, right? So in these 2 hours, we are going to cover a lot. So I would suggest you guys to listen actively, and please be on mute while the session is going on. If you have any doubts, you can raise your hands and I'll get back to you. And whatever questions you have, please save them. We will be taking questions at the end of whatever topics that we're discussing today. And as I said, raise your hand if you have any questions, or drop a question in your chat box. Okay. Uh, Coming to recordings, yeah, those who are in courses, Yeah, we'll be sharing the recordings as well, guys, for you guys. Don't worry about it. And also, please respect others' time as well. Fine. And don't worry, guys, whatever material you will be seeing here today, whatever code that we are writing, whatever notes we will be sharing, we will be showing you, everything will be shared at the end of this workshop. Like you guys have registered with your email IDs, right? So to your email IDs, everything will be shared. Don't worry about it. Fine. Then with this, let's move on to, so what do we need to do to basically crack an interview in Python full stack role? Okay. Now, uh, first thing I would ask is, you guys can answer this, I hope. What do you think the industry is expecting right now? So when you see openings for full stack development role, what do you think the industry is expecting? Like, are they expecting you to build web applications, or are they expecting anything extra? Projects, okay, hands-on experience, that's great, and practical knowledge, which is good. Problem solving, yeah, this is very important. And yes, Swini. So the main important thing that industry is expecting you guys to have is to be well versed in basics. See, since you guys are joining as freshers, I believe most of you have freshers here. So since you guys are joining as freshers, the companies are not expecting you to be perfect in all the things. Okay, they are not expecting you guys to build web applications in a day or two. Okay, they are expecting strong foundations, the very strong foundations that they can mold you into whatever requirement that they have. Okay, and coming to the role, it's full stack, right? So they are not just expecting you to have like to be very good at front end or to be very good at back end, right? They're expecting you to be good at everything, like front end, back end. I hope you guys know these terminologies. Like if you guys have any doubts, you can again ping in chat. Okay. So they're expecting you to have knowledge in and basic foundational knowledge in all of these areas. It can be front end, it can be back end, it can be databases as well. Okay. Now, first thing we need to understand when we are going for any interviews, take a reality check. Okay. Just go back, take a step back, look at your profile, open your job description, and then see how many skills are you matching with that job description, right? So what I would suggest is at least 80%. If you are matching with the skills, you guys can proceed with the interviews, but don't expect that, okay, if I have two or three skills, I can nail the interview. No. So first thing I would suggest is don't just blindly apply for jobs. Look at the job descriptions, look at your skills, and I will tell you one trick. Okay, what I usually do is I open LinkedIn, and what I used to do is I used to look at all the job descriptions for the same role by different companies. Okay, so you will have a lot of skills that they are mentioning, a lot of skill sets that these companies are mentioning in their job descriptions. Now, in all the JDs for all the companies, you will definitely find 70% of skills that are matching. Okay, that are common from all the companies. Focus on those skills instead of trying to learn everything. What you can do is you can like see. I know that in this generation, the attention span is very less, right? So whatever topics that you're choosing for getting ready for an interview, right? Uh, choose wisely. Okay, and they are not expecting just to be for you to be good at front end or back end. They're expecting for you to be good at everything, basically, right? So with this, let's move on to the next slide. Now, let's see where do freshers actually get rejected in job interviews. Now, I have personally conducted many interviews when I was working in different companies, right? And the one thing that I have observed is many students they have surface level knowledge. So I know that you guys have surface level knowledge. I know that if I ask you for any syntax, you will be able to write the syntax and all. And also, you guys have probably done many courses as well. So if I ask you to write some code, you will be able to write that code. Right. Now the problem comes in the problem solving. The issue comes when when you are given a problem solving question. Right. Everyone can build applications. Everyone can write code. But if I give you a problem, just rate yourself, guys, in from 1 to 5. Let's say I'm giving you a problem. How confident are you that you will be able to solve that problem in code? When I say I'm giving you a problem, it's not like I'm asking you to write a code for any application or for anything. I'm basically giving you a problem. Like for example, let's say I told you I am giving you an egg in your hand, right? And I'm asking you to go in a building and then drop that egg from each and every floor. So you guys are getting following me here. I'm giving an egg in your hand and I'm asking you go inside a building, drop that key, start dropping that egg from each and every floor. Now obviously that egg will break in the floor one only, but let's say that egg is very strong. Now what I'm asking you to do is while you're dropping that egg from each and every floor, I want you to find out which floor does that egg break in. Say that egg broke in fourth floor. Now how will you solve this problem using coding? That is the level of questions that companies ask. They don't just ask you definitions. They don't just ask you, okay, give me a code for prime numbers. No, their questions are like this. So they give you a real world problem and then they ask you, how can you solve this problem by using coding? Okay. So if I give you a problem like that, like ping in chat, guys, how many of you think that you guys can solve this problem? Whatever I have explained. Again, guys, I wish this to be an interactive session. So if I get some answers from you, then we can have a session, good session, and this will be interactive if I get some answers from you. So Yashwini, Manikumar, Sharanya. Okay. The question is, I'm giving you an egg in your hand, and I'm asking you take that egg, go inside a building, keep dropping that egg from each and every floor. And now what I'm asking you is find out from which floor that egg breaks. And you have to solve this by using code, not by using not by just going inside the building and doing it yourself. So how can you solve this? Like how confident are you that you can solve this? Yes, you can solve this. Just typing in chat yes or no if you can solve this or not. Yeah, we can solve this using if else loop, which is good. Yes, Tanishq. Uh, yeah, if else, it's a conditional statement, not a loop, right? We can solve this using loops, which is right. Yeah. So I got my answer here. So what Tanish is saying that we can solve this using a loop, which is correct. We can have a loop. In that loop, we will be going through each and every floor and then drop an egg. If the egg breaks or not, we can have a Boolean value, check that value, right? So we can do it that way. So these are the level of questions that you should be expecting when you go into an interview, right? They don't just ask you what is the definition of, for example, let's say what is front end used for, what is HTML. Whatever questions you face will be not like this. The questions that you face will be problem solving based, like real world scenarios. Okay. Now let's look at what makes a one candidate stand out. So when someone is going into an interview, what is the extra X factor that you can have to stand out in an interview? Okay. Let's look at two different types of candidates here, right? Let's say we have candidate A that has many certificates and projects and has a lot of, let's say, has completed a lot of courses, and that candidate can ask whatever definition you ask, that candidate can simply answer that definition without any issue, right? So here we have candidate A that can answer anything, any question, any technical question. And then we have candidate B here, right? So candidate B has the exact same credentials, but see the difference here. Candidate B can justify the choices that he is making in those projects. See, the one problem that I see whenever I take any interviews, right? Or whenever I prepare in my students for those interviews, you have projects, which is good, and you have built your projects. I won't say that you have not built it yourself. I believe that you guys are building your own projects, right? And you have like taken many days to build those projects, which is great. Now, how confident are you? Just rate yourself from 1 to 5 in chat. Yes. How, if I ask you today, whatever projects that you have built, how confident are you that you can very clearly explain each and every concept that you're using inside that project? And when I say a project, I'm not talking about like AI projects, data analysis projects. No, I'm talking about full stack projects. Okay. So how confident are you that you can explain each and every concept that you're using inside those projects? That is the one that is separating your candidate A and candidate B. Okay. Candidate A can answer anything, whatever technical questions you ask, that candidate A can answer. And candidate A also has many certificates. He has completed many courses. But the one thing that separates these two people is the understanding. Okay. So let's say you are building a project, and for that project, you have used like many AI libraries. You have used many AI libraries. You have used many, let's say you have used some advanced libraries in Python like NumPy, Pandas. Using these libraries, you have built your project. Let's say that is great. That is very great. Now, what interviewers will ask is, why did you choose these libraries? See, they're not asking, what are you doing using these libraries? Like, what are you doing inside your project using these libraries? What they're asking is, why did you choose? This question comes a lot. Why? Okay. Why did you exactly choose that library? So you have Pandas and you also have NumPy. If you are trying to do mathematical calculations, NumPy is the best one. But let's say you have built your project using Pandas. So now what the interviewer will ask is, why did you choose Pandas over NumPy? See how the question is changing here. Okay. So again, coming back to what makes a candidate stand out, which is being able to answer why. That why question, right? See, people that are hiring, companies that are hiring, they are not looking for experts because they are hiring freshers, right? They're looking for people that can think freely, that can think like a developer, that can think like a problem solver. Okay. So this is what makes candidates stand out. Now, coming to the next slide. Yeah. So here we look at what exactly is the industry expecting from us, from freshers, those who are applying to full stack roles. First things first, you need to have very good knowledge in backend. Okay. When I say backend, yes, Shivaraj. So all the interviews go in depth in projects. Okay. And the main thing that they also look at is if you have projects or not. See, if you don't have any projects while you're going for interviews, you are rejected. You are directly rejected. Right. Like even when I take interviews, I look at if the student has any projects. And if the student has really done those projects, not using ChatGPT or Gemini. Okay. And the way that we find out is that the way that companies find out is basically ask questions from those projects. So how did you implement this? How did you implement that tool? How did you make this feature? Why are you choosing this tool to make this feature? So kind of questions are that what you're expecting. Okay. So coming to yeah. So coming to what is industry expecting, right? So coming to backend, you need to have very good knowledge in Django, right? If your target is MNCs, okay. Again, here we have it. We have two different things here. We have Django and Fast API. If your target is MNCs, okay, then they prefer Django. So you can focus on this if your target is joining an MNC company. But if you want to work in a fast-paced environment, when I say fast-paced environments, I'm talking about obviously startups. Okay. So if your target is fast-paced environments like this, like startups, for example, they focus mostly on when it comes to backend, they focus on fast API. Okay, because it's in the name itself, fast API, right? So this is very faster to develop basically. So when you are using backend, when you are building backends, if you are using fast API, it is much more faster to develop backends. Now, to be honest, fast API has its advantage. It also has its disadvantages as well. So if you're using fast API, basically, you are limited to your options. Okay, fast API does not have all the necessary tools that you need. So then the reason why we are like why startups are choosing fast API is because the only reason is because it is faster to develop backends using fast API. Okay. And then you need to have very good knowledge on REST APIs as well. Right. Now, when I say REST APIs, again, there are two types of APIs here. Again, in interviews, this question is also asked a lot. Okay. What are the types of APIs? Can anyone tell me, guys, in chat, what are the different types of APIs do we have? Or just what is an API? Maybe REST API, RESTful API. Okay, Rajesh. Fine. Anyone else, guys? What is an API? Or what are the types of APIs do we have? Okay, Harsh, good. So application programming interface. Now, this is one more problem that students face. Okay, when you are going for any interviews. Now, when I asked what is an API? Yeah. So when I'm asking you what is an API? See, I'm not asking for a definition. I'm not asking for the full form, right? I'm asking you what exactly is an API. And the best answer that I got from is Rajesh. So he said that APIs are used to communicate between front end and server. Basically, it acts like a bridge between front end and your back end, right? And when I'm asking what is an API, I'm not asking for a full form, right? I'm asking what exactly is an API. Okay. So, yes, Saikiran. Yeah. So when I'm asking what is HTML or what is CSS or what is Python, don't just simply say that it is application programming interface. Don't say full forms. Okay, they're asking what is that, right? Not full forms. So when you get questions like this, you have to be able to answer like what exactly does that do, not the full forms. Okay, fine. Yeah. So continuing here for backend, you need to be good at Python, SQL, Django, Fast API. If you're targeting MNCs, then you will focus on Django. If you're targeting startups, so if you like fast-paced environments, you will focus on Fast API. And don't just focus on learning this, focus on how to use this. See, learning to learn and learning to use. Learning to just learn those concepts and learning to use or apply those concepts. They are two different things, right? You should be learning to apply those concepts, not just use those concepts. Now coming to front end, again, like how we are learning for backend Python, SQL, Django, and fast API for focusing on fast-paced environments. For front end, you need to be good at HTML, CSS, JavaScript, and React.js. Now, even though you are learning Python full stack, here also we need to learn React because again, the industry is now expecting a lot from you guys. Okay, they're not expecting just to have a basic knowledge, people. They're expecting you guys to be experts in all of these concepts. Okay, so just focusing on HTML, CSS, and JavaScript is not enough. You need to learn React.js as well. And coming to tools, this is what makes you stand out. See, what I have observed is most people learn backend and they also learn frontend, which is good. This covers full stack. In backend, you have servers. Yes, Rajesh, you need to know React in depth. Now, it depends again. Let's say you're applying for roles where they're focusing more on backend only. If you see a company that is focusing a lot on backend projects and all, then obviously they will ask you to be good at backend. But if you are seeing a company that is building front end only, right, even though they're hiring for full stack roles, what you can do is you can just open their profile, you can open their LinkedIn profile, or you can open their website. Just do some research, look at their website and see like what exactly are they good at. Um, so Saikiran, in backend learning Django or FastAPI, any one of these is good enough. You don't have to know both. It is good to know both, but if you focus on any one of these, that is good enough. Okay. Fine. So coming to front end, again, as we were discussing, we need to be good at HTML, CSS, JavaScript as well. And React is the one that makes you stand out. Now, this is what most people do, but they don't focus on this part, which is tools. Okay. See, whatever projects that you have built, whatever applications that are building, that is fine. That is good. But how will you deploy them? Because a big part of full stack development is whatever, or a big part of deploy like building your applications is being able to like serve those applications to customers. Like let's say you are building a application Swiggy. Let's say you have built a Swiggy clone or some any shopping website, for example. Now, whatever website you have built, which is let's say you have all those features you have, tracking and everything, and you have it in your laptop. Now, how will people use this website if you are not sharing it with them? Right? It becomes impossible. So what you have to do, be able to do is not just build those websites, you have to be also able to deploy them. And to deploy, we learn these concepts. You need to be good at GitHub workflows, and also if you guys like still have time, then I would suggest focus on basic cloud concepts. I'm not asking you to be experts on this, just basic cloud concepts and specifically AWS. Can anyone tell me what does AWS stand for? I'm not asking about like definition now. I'm just asking full form. Now I'm asking about full form. Yes, Shashwini, Amazon Web Services. Yeah, yeah. So AWS is basically a platform. It is a cloud platform, cloud computing platform, I would say, where basically whatever applications you are building, you are deploying it there. You are running those applications in that platform, and you can access that application from anywhere using internet. So AWS is basically a cloud computing platform. Okay. Saikiran, Azure, it is also like getting popular now. But one thing I would say is 75% of whatever applications you see outside, whatever websites you see outside, uh, they are using AWS only. See, AWS came at the beginning, right? So everyone started using AWS. All the companies started using AWS. Right now, recently, Azure has started seeing some growth because of some AI tools that they have. They have some AI automation inbuilt. So they have, like, for example, you might know that Microsoft is the one that has Copilot, right? And in VS Code also you have GitHub Copilot chat where you ask that AI model to write code for you, right? So they have that integration with Azure as well. So just in recent days, I have seen an improve like and more people have started using Azure, but AWS is still the go-to platform for many companies. Okay, fine. So this is what the industry expects, you guys. Yes, Ashwini. So what I have, as I have said, right, even though you're applying for developer role, right, since companies are expecting you to know all the concepts in full stack, and in full stack, deployment is also an important concept. Deployment also plays a key role when you're talking about full stack. And in deployment, the main thing that companies ask is, do you know AWS? First thing that they will ask is, do you know about Git and GitHub? Now, how many of you guys can tell me, right? So, how many of you guys can tell me what exactly is the difference between Git and GitHub? See, I'm not saying Git or GitHub. Git and GitHub are two different platforms. So, can you guys tell me like what is the difference? Git is version control tool, good. And what about GitHub then? Local storage and cloud storage. GitHub is website. GitHub is a list of repositories. Repository. Yeah, yeah, yeah. So yeah, guys, you guys are correct. So Git is the tool that we use to do version controlling, right? GitHub is basically like Google Drive. You guys know about Google Drive, right? You store your files there. GitHub is simply like an online storage platform where you can store your files, where you can store your projects, and also you can do collaboration as well. So you can do both things here. You can do storage in GitHub. So in GitHub, you can do storage and also collaboration. Another important question that people ask is in interviews is basically, what is the difference between Git and GitHub? Okay, fine. So with this, we'll move on to the next slide for today, which will be learning versus working. Right. See, learning everyone can do, but the thing that differentiates you from developers is basically from learner. If you want to transition into a developer, whatever you're learning, you have to be able to apply those concepts as well in your work. Okay. So what your thinking should be basically is like, don't just say today I'm learning something. Today I'm learning a topic. Let's say in Python, today you're learning about dictionaries. Right. Your thought process should not be like this. Your thought process should be like, okay, I have a problem. How do I solve that problem? Using this concept of dictionaries. Right. Again, I have a problem which is my app is slow. Right. The problem is that here my app is very slow. Right. And basically, what is happening is in my app, whenever I try to search for any data, that is becoming very tedious. So whenever I do any search, whenever I search for any data, it's becoming very slow. So how can I improve this? I can improve this using dictionaries. So instead of storing everything in a list or an array, we also call them as arrays, right? So instead of storing everything inside a list, we can store everything inside a dictionary in Python. I hope you guys have an idea on what is a dictionary, right? So instead of storing everything in a list or an array, we can store everything in a dictionary, which makes our searching much more faster. Now, today we will see how exactly it makes our searching much more faster. Okay, we'll be looking at some Python questions as well today. And tomorrow we will look at front end, and also we will have a live demo as well tomorrow. So don't miss tomorrow's class, guys. We will have a live demo tomorrow where we will build a basic full stack application. Okay. Now, again, coming to today, we are going to look at most of the Python concepts, like what are the questions that most interviewers ask in any interviews. And then day two will be completely on front end and APIs. And also we'll be having a live demo tomorrow, right? So with this, guys, I hope you guys are ready. Ready, guys? Shall we move on to today's questions? All right. All right, great. Thank you. Okay, guys. So let's look at certain common interview questions that we face in Python. Again, this is for a full stack role. So we will look at backend today, and tomorrow we will be looking at front end APIs and also a live demo. Right. So let me just, yeah. I hope you guys can see my screen. Fine. Now, whenever you go into an interview and whenever they're asking questions on Python, the very first question that they will ask is, what is a data type? What is a data type, guys? Can anyone answer what is a data type? Story data. Okay. Any more answers? Tells us what kind of data can be stored. Yeah. So data type is basically tells us what kind of data we can store inside a variable. Right. Now, coming to these data types and coming to these different types of data structures that we have, the one very much asked question that I see is, give me the difference between mutable and immutable data types or objects. Okay. Again, when this question is asked, I'm not I'm telling you that don't think like, okay, how can I answer this? Think of it in this way. Okay, what is the problem here? What exactly is the problem with mutable data types? What exactly is the problem with immutable data types? Right. So what exactly is the problem with mutable data types? What exactly is the problem with immutable data types? Yeah. And then how does how do we solve those problems? Okay. Now let's look at this problem statement here. Let's say you are developing an e-commerce application and you are asked to store two different carts. Let's say you are taking some inputs here from user. User is basically entering all the products that user wants. Okay. Let's say user is buying laptop and user is also buying mouse. So you have an e-commerce application inside which user is buying two things here. User is buying a laptop and a mouse. Okay. And when you go to Amazon, when you open Amazon, right, you basically, after opening Amazon, you search for your product, and then after searching for your product, you add it to cart. Now, before checking out, let's say you have some offers here, okay, and you're applying those offers on these items. Now, before applying offers, you will have some price. After applying offers, you will have a different price, right? Now, what I'm asking you to do is store both of these. I want you to show me the data before applying offers and also data after applying offers. Let's see how we can do this. Okay. Now, if you look at this code here, simple, right? It looks very simple. So we basically have a variable called cart, and then we have another variable called offer cart. See what are we doing here? We in cart variable we are storing two different data. We have laptop and we have a mouse. We are storing two different products here in cart variable. And then what we have told Python is take another variable called offer cart. So we have cart, we also have offer cart. Okay, so we have cart variable, we have offer cart variable, and we are telling Python inside offer cart variable, whatever things you have inside cart, which is laptop and mouse. Both of these things, whatever you have inside cart variable, assign it to offer cart as well. Now see what I'm doing here. So what user has done is, since keyboard is also in offer right now, let's say we have 50% off in our keyboard. Okay, user is now adding that keyboard as well along with all the remaining items. So in offer cart variable right now, I have also added one more item, keyboard. Right. Now tell me guys, when I execute this code, so at the end, basically I'm printing both of them, right? I'm printing cart and I'm also printing offer cart. Again, cart has laptop and mouse. In offer cart, I'm also adding keyboard using this append method. So this method is called as a inbuilt method, right? In Python, we have many inbuilt methods that we can use to manage our data structures. So this is a inbuilt list method that we have append, which adds our data, whatever element we are giving here, it adds that element at the end of our list. So after laptop and mouse, we should be having keyboard as well. Right. So now tell me guys, what will be the output of this if I execute this code? I'm basically at the end printing both cart and offer cart. Any cases? Laptop, okay. And Shivraj, yeah, you were correct actually. So now the problem that we have here is, see, list, whatever list we have in Python, okay, these are called as mutable data types. Okay, basically what we mean by mutable data types is that these data, whatever we are storing, can be changed in the future. Okay, now when I try to print both, so we are most of the people will be expecting that, okay, when I try to print both of these, first print laptop mouse, second print laptop mouse keyboard. Okay, Ajinkya. So you're saying that first print will be having laptop and mouse, and second print will be having laptop, mouse, and keyboard. Let's see what happens here. See what happens. Okay. When I try to print both of these, even the original card got changed. Right. See what is happening here. Am I adding my keyboard to cart variable? No, right. I'm adding that keyboard object to offer cart here. Even though I'm adding it to offer cart, my original cart will be also changing. Can anyone guess, guys, why this is happening? Duplicates. Okay. And any more cases, guys? Yes, Shivraj, you're correct. So basically what is happening here is, let me just show you guys what is happening here. See, in Python, whenever you're dealing with mutable data types or mutable objects or mutable data structures, okay, which can be changed again. So what happens here is, let's say I have created a list at the beginning, which has laptop and mouse, both, right? Now, when I do offer cards, which is our second variable, and say equal to cards, when I do this, what happens is Python does not create one more list for our offer cards. Instead, what Python does is it already has a list, right? It already has a list which has laptop and mouse, which is assigned to cart right now. Okay. When we say offer card is equal to cart, what Python does is instead of creating a new copy of the same object, Python simply references to the same object. See, when I ask you what is a variable, what do you guys say? If an interview is asking you what is a variable, guys. So when I say, when I ask, when let's say I'm an interviewer and I'm asking you what is a variable. What will you answer? A memory location. Okay, great. Any more answers, guys? Variable is a container where we can store data. Yeah. Okay. Okay, fine. The best answer that I got was from Rajesh. Okay. Again, when someone asks you what is a variable, don't say that variable is a container or variable is storing data. No. A variable is a container. Okay. A variable is a container that stores address. It stores the address of a object. Now, in Python, everything is an object. Whatever data you're storing in Python, everything is an object. If you're storing a list, this becomes an object. If you're simply taking a normal string, this also becomes an object. Now, what variable stores is not this data. It stores the address of this object. Somewhere in Python, this entire data is stored. Somewhere in Python's memory, this data is stored. And every memory has an address. Okay, we also call this as an ID. So every data that you see, every object that you see has an ID and it has an address. This address is what is stored in your variable, not the actual data. Right. So when you say offer card is equal to card, what exactly happens here is when you say offer card is equal to card. So what exactly happens here is in cart, we have an object stored, right? We have a list of laptop and mouse. Python, instead of creating a new copy of this same object, it simply says, okay, boss, you already have an object here, which is also mutable. So instead of creating a new object, I will say, point out the same memory location. So now what is happening is both your offer cart and also cart. Both of them are pointing to the same object here. You guys getting what I'm trying to say? Yes, Ashwini. So a variable is basically a name to a memory location. Now, since both of them are pointing to the same object here, right? When I say change offer cart, so in offer cart, so in offer cart, when I say also add one more thing, which is keyboard. Okay. Now, if you observe here, both of them are pointing to same location, right? So both of them are having only one object. They are same pointing to the same object. So when I say add keyboard to offer cart, cart is also pointing to the same thing, right? So I'm telling Python, okay, offer cart in that add keyboard. Now, cart is also pointing to the same object, right? So what happens internally in Python is for mutable data structures, yes, since they are pointing to the same memory location. Yeah, Neelam. So why we are creating a second variable is, let's say you have added your items to cart. Okay. After adding items to cart, sometimes in Amazon, if you guys have observed, when you are adding any items to cart, okay, let's say you previously added laptop and mouse. You have laptop and mouse. While you are adding these items, sometimes Amazon at the bottom shows you recommendations. That when you order it 14 Swiggy also, when you are ordering one item, Swiggy will at the bottom show some recommendations, right? This is the original card of the user. Now these are recommendations. Let's say user is adding one of the recommendations here. You have to now modify it. You have to change this card. For that reason, we are taking one more variable. So in these are original user cards. We store this so that if user changes their mind, for example, let's say user is now saying that okay, whatever recommendation I added, remove it. We can just revert back to the original card. Okay. Now, how can we solve this problem? Again, I am asking you, don't think like, okay, what is the so like what is the answer for this question? Think of it in this way. What is the problem that this topic, this concept is trying to solve? Okay. And how can we solve this problem is basically by creating a copy of this first object. So we have card here, which has laptop and mouse. Now we will ask Python create a new copy of the same object, which also will have laptop and mouse. Okay. And take this copy and assign it to offer card variable. Now, how can we create this copy? Any guys have an idea? Guys, can you guys tell me like how can we create a copy of any of our objects, any of our data? Yes, we have that is a concept that you are saying to me. Deep copy is a concept. Now, how can we perform deep copy? In Python, what is used to perform deep copy? Okay, so in Python, we have a method called copy. Okay, using this method, what we can do is we can create a new copy of our existing object. Okay, and the solution for that looks like this. Let me just show you guys the solution as well. Yeah, so what are we doing here? We have our cart object, and then we're using our copy method. We are using a copy function to create a new copy of this particular object, and we are asking Python store that new copy now in a variable called offer cart. So what we are doing is again we are creating a we already have one copy cart which has laptop and mouse. We are telling Python now create one more copy. So create one more object with laptop and mouse. Now take this new particular copy, save that address inside a variable called offer cart. Now this time when I add something in offer cart, if you observe here, it has its own copy, right? So in offer cart variable only, our keyboard will get added. Okay. And whatever previous original variable we have, cart, nothing is changing here. So when I run this code, right? So when I run this code, let's see what happens. Yeah. If you observe, original card has laptop and mouse, and offer card changed to laptop, mouse, and keyboard. So our original card is not getting affected at all. So I hope you guys have a clarity now on what exactly do we mean by mutable and immutable objects. See, mutable objects are basically objects which we can change. Okay. So previously I had cart and then I assigned that variable to another variable called offer cart, and I'm able to change it later by appending some other element here. But coming to immutable elements or immutable data structures, you cannot change them. Now the best example for an immutable data structure is a tuple. In Python, we have tuples and also strings. Okay, let's say I'm taking a variable called name, and in that I'm assigning my name, Mrinal. Okay, now I cannot go in and tell Python that okay, in place of name now, add Mrinal Sarkar. Now, can you guys guess what happens when I do this? So previously I had Mrinal in my variable name, and now I'm saying take the same variable in that now add Mrinal Sarkar. Yes. So a new string gets created. So what Python does here is it is not going to the object like an object that had Mrinal previously, right? It is not going to this object and adding Sarkar to this. No. Python will now create a new object. Yes, two new variables are created in the string pool. So it is now creating a new object, and in this new object, now Python has Mrinal Sarkar. Now, what happens to this one? What do you think happens to the previous object? What does Python do with this previous object? Anyone has any guesses, guys? What do you think happens to the previous object now? Yes, it is garbage value. Great. So I guess you have already a good knowledge on what Python. So what Python does here is Python has something called as a garbage collector. Okay. Again, this will also be a very common interview question for you guys. What is garbage collection or what is garbage collector? How does Python handle memory? That is the question that you will get. Okay. Now, what Python does here is for each and every object that you see in your code, right? For every object, Python has something called as a reference count. Okay. Now, this reference count basically defines how many variables. Now, for this object, before I change the value from Mrinal to Mrinal Sarkar, how many variables are accessing this object here? One. Yes. So there is only one variable name that is accessing this particular object. Right. Now, what Python does here is, what garbage collector in Python does here is, it constantly checks whatever objects I have in my code, are there any variables accessing it? And how many variables are accessing that particular object? That is called as reference count. As soon as this reference count becomes zero, as soon as the reference count becomes zero, Python immediately destroys that object. It immediately deletes that object from its memory. Now, see what we did here, we again told Python create another variable, create another data, another object called Mrinal Sarkar, and now this variable name should be pointing out to this object address. So previous object reference count became zero, right? Because whatever variable we had previously, we are not telling Python. Okay, don't point to this object now. Point to Mrinal Sarkar, this one. This reference count becomes zero. As soon as the reference counts becomes zero, Python immediately destroys the object. This is how Python handles memory. Okay. Again, common interview question here. Where whenever you go into any interviews, and if they are asking for Python questions, what they will ask is, how does Python handle memory? Okay, so you can talk about garbage collector and you can say that Python has reference counting. So whenever this reference count becomes zero, Python deletes that object. This is how Python handles the memory in your code. Okay, fine, guys. With this, let's move on to the next particular problem, which would be why are dictionaries faster than list? So again, one more very common interview question that I see is why are dictionaries faster than list? Now, before I answer this, yes, I am expecting some answers from you. So, any guesses, guys? Okay, yes, Swini. So, you have said that because it uses something called as keys. Key value pairs, yes, key value pairs. Now, you are giving me these answers, which is good. You are saying that it uses key value pairs. That's why dictionaries are faster than list. Now, what interviewer will ask is why? Okay, you are telling me that it uses key value pairs. Now, what I'm asking is, okay, why? Why is it becoming faster when I use key value pairs? Why is it not faster when I use a normal list? Let's say I have a list of some names, 1, 2, and 3, and I have a dictionary as well. Keys are unique. Okay, fine. Now, what I will say here is list can have duplicates. Yes, but dictionaries can also have duplicate values. Right. Keys are unique, which is fine. But the values can be duplicate as well, right? Yes, seriously. So I got my answer here. Because dictionaries use something called as hash tables. Okay. Now we need to understand what exactly do we mean by hash tables. Okay. We will look at the problem statement here first, and then we will understand, okay, how exactly are we solving this problem using dictionaries. Okay. So with this, let's look at the problem statement. So what they're asking you to do is you are developing an employee management system. They're basically developing a application for a company in which they are managing all their employees. Right. Now, initially the company had only few employees. Let's say the company started with 5 employees. So you have employee 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. So initially you have 5 employees, which is good. You can simply create a list of those 5 employees and you can maintain that very easily. Now, what if suddenly this employee count went from 5 employees to 200 employees? Okay. Again, let's say you have another list which has now 200 values. Right. Now, what I'm asking you to do is, out of this list of all the names, find out someone with the name of Rahul. How can you find out a name of Rahul in a list of 200 names? Can you guys tell me the answer here? So you have a list of 200 values, 200 names, and from this I am asking you, find out someone with the name of Rahul. How can we proceed to solve this problem? Using list. I'm not asking to solve this using dictionaries right now. I'm saying just use list. We need to do linear search. And how do we do that search? What exactly do we use in Python to search through a list? Simple looping. Yeah. So we can use a for loop. So we can use a for loop. We can tell Python simply for name in our list of employees. Okay. So we can say for name in employees, and inside this we will have a if statement which simply checks if our name is equal to Rahul. Right. If our name is equal to Rahul, print that name. But if it's not equal to Rahul, just continue. Now let's see the problem here. Okay. Again, I want you guys to think. What exactly is the problem here. Let's say you have 1,000 names. Okay. And I'm asking you to find Rahul, right? Now, what if this person's name is, let's say this person is at 912th place. Okay. Now, what are we doing here? We are looping through our list, which means as we are starting from the beginning of our list, we have to cross all the 911 names to finally reach out to 912. Right. Until then, Python is looping through all of these values. Now, what if there was a better way where if I have just an ID of the employee, I can directly go to that employee's details. This is possible using dictionaries in Python. Okay. Now you can like have a doubt here. Like yes, you are saying that we can use dictionaries here to solve this problem, but also list also has indexing, right? List also has indexing, right? Now, can you guys tell me where does indexing start from in list? 0. Yes. So list also has indexing where we have indexes for all of these values. And for the 912th value, the index will also be 912. So we can simply tell Python, okay, from our list of employees, give me the 912th value. Okay. Now, what I am asking you is, how do you know that Rahul is in 912th place? We don't exactly know, right? Yes, it will be 911. My bad. So now, how do you exactly know that Rahul is in 912th place? The index for which is 911. You don't know. You have to look through your entire list and find out. Right. This is a problem that is being solved by using dictionaries in Python. So when someone says why are dictionaries faster, first we have to think, okay, why are we even using dictionaries when we have list? The reason is because it has something called as key and value pairs. Okay. So whatever values we have, whatever names we have, for all the names here, we will have something called as a key. Now think of this key like an index for your dictionary. So in your dictionary, you have a lot of values, and for each value, you have an index, which is your key. Okay. Usually in arrays or list, the key starts from 0, the index starts from 0, and it is fixed. You cannot change this indexing. But coming to dictionaries, you can provide your own key, you can provide your own index. There is an advantage here in Python dictionaries. Okay. Let's look at the problem here. Let's look at the code and let's see how we can solve that particular code. Yeah. So we have a list of values here, right? And we are looping through the entire list of values. And while looping, we are saying search for the person named Priya. And if you find that person's name, then print that person's name. After that, break. Now, if you observe, Priya is not at the beginning. Priya is in which particular index here? What is the index of Priya, guys? 3, yes, because it starts from 0, right? So the index of Priya right now is 0, 1, 2, and 3. So to go to Priya, first of all, Python has to loop through all these values. Python will now first go to Rahul and check is Rahul matching with Priya, whatever search name that we have given. No, right? It again goes to Anjali. Again, it goes to Kiran. And then finally, now Python has found Priya. Whereas coming to dictionaries here, what we can do is simply for every employee here, we can have a key value pair. Okay. So if you observe here, for every employee, we're also assigning one key, an unique key. Now always remember, guys, keys should always be unique, right? And to find out an employee, all you have to do is give the employee number, sorry, not name. Just give the employee number and you will directly find that employee's name. Now, how exactly is this faster? So previously when I asked you guys, how is exactly dictionary is faster, you guys told me that because dictionary has key value pairs. Right. Now what you have to understand is how is it becoming faster when it has key value pairs? Okay, let's see that. Let's see the explanation here. Okay. Now, the reason why it is faster is because, again, Python implements a technique called as hashing. Okay. So what Python does here is, I will just briefly explain what exactly is hashing. And the reason why I'm telling this is because this is a very common interview question. What they will ask is, first things first, why is dictionary faster than a list? You will say it because it is a key value pairs. Next thing that they will ask is, why exactly? Like you are saying it is a key value pairs. Why? How is it becoming faster? Now, what happens in Python is when you give a key and then a value. Okay. What Python does is it passes this key to a function called as a hash function. It takes your key and passes that key through a function called as a hash function. Now, what this hash function does is it basically creates a address. It basically creates some random numbers. Let's say when you pass a key of 101, Python is creating a hash value which is 1579. Okay. What Python does now is it takes this as a memory address. Okay. In Python memory, you will have many memory blocks, right? You have countless numbers of memory blocks. Out of these memory blocks, somewhere you will have a block that has this address of 1579. What Python does now is it takes the value, it takes the name, and it saves that name inside this memory block 1579. So it takes this name, saves it inside 1579. Okay. Now, next time when you ask Python, okay, give me the name that is present with this particular value 101. So when you say employees of 101, now Python does not go like list, like it does not say, okay, from the beginning, search for the ID of 101. So we have employee IDs here, right? We have employee IDs here like 101, 102, 103, 104, 105, and 106. Right. Then you say, give me the employee with an ID of 106. Python does not start from the beginning. It basically, what it does is it again passes this number through the same hash function. Okay. Now, since you are passing the same number, it will create the same memory address. Now, what Python does is instead of looping through each and every value, it basically checks, okay, for this memory address inside my memory, where is the value? It goes to that address. Think of it this way. If I ask you, let's say I dropped you inside Mumbai. Okay, like how many guys have you been to Mumbai? Guys, how many of you guys have been to Mumbai? Or how many of you guys are from Mumbai? Anyone? Or any nearby areas? No? Yes? No? Okay, fine. So let's say I took you and dropped you inside Mumbai. Okay. Now, what I am saying is, I am giving you only the description of one house. Let's say I'm telling you that this house has 10 floors. Okay. And this house also has red color walls. I'm just giving a description, right? I'm not exactly telling you where that house is. So when you ask Python, search for a name of Rahul from my entire list, basically you are telling Python, you are giving a description to Python. You're telling Python that whatever value you have has the description of Rahul. And you are telling Python, okay, from the entire list, search for that value. So basically what I'm doing now is I'm taking you and dropping you in Mumbai and I'm saying, okay, find this building that has 10 floors and has red walls. Now, what you have to do now, you have to go to each and every street in Mumbai, each and every place, search for this particular building with these features. Now, what if I gave you an address? Instead of giving you a description, instead of giving you a value, what if I directly give you an address and tell you, go to this address? Much more easier, right? Directly you can go to that street. In address, you will have street, house number, pin code, everything you will be having inside address, right? You can directly go to that place, find that building. So using dictionaries is like basically storing the addresses in the form of keys. And what Python does is whenever you try to search any value using this particular key, Python directly goes to that address instead of finding out from the entire values, list of values. Okay. I hope you guys are clear on this concept now. So when someone asks you why exactly is dictionary faster than our list, you can explain this concept. You can say, okay, sir, if I take you to Mumbai and drop you in that place. So don't say that. Yes, just try to explain it that, okay, because dictionary uses hash table. It has hash. Okay. Fine. So let's move on to the next common question. I would skip this part because I hope you guys have already some knowledge on what list versus set. Like, can you guys quickly tell me list versus set? What is the difference between list and set, guys? Set does not allow duplicates. So no duplicates. Right. Any more differences, guys? Sometimes set also has sorted values. And it is sometimes. I'm not saying always, but sometimes a set automatically sorts your values as well, depending on how you are inserting those values. Okay. And yes, Harsh, it only has unique values. Okay. So a set always takes unique values. Now, what exactly happens if I try to insert a like duplicate value. Set will automatically remove that. It will store only the unique values. Okay. So coming to the next question, what we will see is, yeah, we are jumping on to functions now. Can you guys tell me what is a function? Everyone? So what exactly is a function? You guys are free to ping in chat. It's a block of code that performs some action. Yes, Rajesh. Anyone else, guys? You are saying that it is a block of code. Now, in this function, the common question that people ask, the interviewers ask is, why do we need these? Now, anyone has an idea of what these are called? Args, keyword args. Yes, this is a keyword argument. But if you observe, we have two stars here, right? Anyone knows what these two stars represent? One star and two stars. Positional arguments, yes. Okay, fine. Now, what these stars represent is these are something called as variable arguments, yes, or also sometimes they are called as arbitrary arguments. Okay. Now, again, these are the arguments that we use when we don't know how many exactly we are getting. Inside a function, we can pass arguments, right? We can pass inputs. Let's say you have a scenario where you don't know exactly how many inputs you are passing. Yeah, from a user, you can get either one input or 10 inputs. You don't know that. Okay. In those kind of scenarios, we use these kind of arguments. They are called as variable arguments or also arbitrary arguments. Now, let's look at a scenario for this. Okay. So the problem here is that you are developing a billing system. So you are making a billing system here, and customer has purchased some number of products. Okay. Let's say you have a function. You have a function. Function is defined by def, right, in Python. So you have a function that is accepting three arguments. Okay. So basically, your function billing function is accepting three products, and for these three products, you are billing. You are writing your code for billing. Finally, you are giving it your total amount as an output for all these three products. Now, what if user has ordered four products, or five, or six, or 10? See what is happening here. You don't know exactly how many items you're getting inside an order, right? So in these kind of uncertain scenarios, we use arbitrary arguments, or also sometimes called as variable arguments. Let's look at this scenario here first. So we have this code. Okay. So we have this code here where it is taking three items as an input, and you are passing three items total. Like you are passing 200, 300, and 400. These are the prices for all of these three items. Finally, you are returning the addition of those three items, basically the final amount. Okay. Now, what if user is passing 4 or 5 or 10? We don't know the count. In those kind of scenarios, we will be using arbitrary arguments. Now, here we have two types of arguments in Python: positional and keyword. In Python, we have two types of arguments: positional arguments and keyword arguments. Can you guys tell me what is the difference between these? Varshini, Rajesh, can you guys tell me what is the difference between positional argument and keyword arguments? Okay, the positional arguments we need to define as it is. Okay, then what about keyword arguments then? Okay, fine. So coming to position arguments, they depend on the position. Okay. So if I am passing three items here in my order, in my function here, we are passing three items, right? 200, 300, and 400. Now in item 1, you will always get 200 only, right? You in item 1, you won't get the value of 300. Whatever arguments you are passing, they depend on the position. So if you are passing 2, 3, and 4, 2, 3, and 4 will always go into item 1, item 2, and item 3. But if you write this particular function call, let's say like this. Let's say you said calculate total, and then you're saying here item 2 is equal to 100, comma, item 1 is equal to 200, and item 3 is equal to 300. See what are we doing now? Instead of passing directly values, we are telling Python item 2 now takes 100, item 1 takes 200, and item 3 takes 300. Okay. We're explicitly telling Python item 2 is taking 100. These are called as keyword arguments. They look like key value pairs, right? So we are telling Python item 2 will now take 100 only. And if you observe here, they are not depending on the position. Whenever you are defining those, whenever in function definition, whatever parameters you are given here, the first value is not always going to the first parameter here. The first value is now going to item 2, which is our second parameter. They are not depending on the position, right? So this is why we call them as keyword arguments, where you don't have to worry about positions. Okay. If you know the parameter names, you can directly give those parameter names here and define your values. Yeah. Now, coming to these arguments, let's say you don't know the count. You don't know how many arguments you are getting. In these kind of scenarios, if you are using positional arguments, we define that with a star. So here, if you observe, if you look at the solution now, see, have I defined how many arguments I'm getting here? Have I defined like 2 or 3 or 4? No. I'm simply saying star prices. I'm telling Python, expect any number of arguments, not just 1 or 2, expect any number of arguments. And when I'm calling my function here, I can pass any number of arguments. I can pass 200, 300, I can pass 2 arguments or 3 or 4. Whatever you're passing, Python is taking it and it is calculating the sum using sum method. We have an inbuilt method in Python, right? Called sum. It is using that method to calculate all the prices. Now, one more doubt. Whatever price I'm passing here, right? We have only one variable, prices. In this, in which data type do you think all of these prices are stored? Can you guys tell me? In which data type do you think all of these values are stored? Dictionary, okay. Anyone else, guys? What do we use to find out the data type of a variable in Python? We use type, yes. Let me do one thing here. Before finding out sum, I will say print the type of my prices. And this should be inside the function, right? So we'll say here print the data type of the prices variable. Let's see which data type we get. If you observe here, do we have dictionaries? Yeah. So again, guys, interviewers will go and ask these kind of questions. They will ask you, okay, you are using arbitrary arguments, which is great. You are now expecting all, like you are accepting all different numbers of arguments, which is great. Now what they will ask is, okay, out of that, which data type do you think is being used by Python to store all of those values? If you observe here, the type we got, which is tuple, not a dictionary. Okay. So yeah, this is what makes you stand out, to know these kind of answers. Okay. Now if you observe again, I passed 2 and 3, it gave me 500. I passed 2, 3 and 4, it gave me 900. So whatever number of arguments I'm passing, Python is now able to calculate the total. Right? So with this, I hope you guys have a clarity now on why do we need these kind of arguments. Why do we need arbitrary arguments, are also called as variable arguments. Okay. Let's look at question number 5. Let's look at the problem number 5. Why exactly do you think we need object-oriented programming? Very important in Python. Whenever you're going for interviews, right? People will ask, tell me about object-oriented programming. Okay. Now, can you guys take a guess? Why do we need object-oriented programming? So until now, whatever programs we have written, if you observe, until now, whatever programs we have written inside functions, right? We have created def functions, and then inside functions, we wrote our code. Okay. Now, what is the use of object-oriented programming? Okay. Tell me, what exactly do we have in OOPS in object-oriented programming? What are the concepts that we have? Classes, yes. Anyone else? Objects, yes. Excuse me, guys. Yeah. So we have classes, we have objects, we have, yes, 4 pillars of OOPS, which is inheritance. We have encapsulation. We have polymorphism. And then we have abstraction. Right. Now, when I ask you about these concepts, you will be able to tell me. I am confident that you guys know about these concepts. But when I asked you, why are we using OOPS? If you remember at the beginning, I told you, right? Interviewer will not ask the definitions. Interviewer will ask, why exactly are you choosing those libraries? Or why exactly are you choosing those kind of concepts to build your application? Yes, Ritesh. After completing this workshop, we'll be sharing like all the like whatever Python file you see here, right? This will be shared with you as well as whatever PPT that I have shown you, that will be shared as well. All the resources will be shared after completing the workshop. Okay, you will get those in your mails. Yeah, for organizing code. Okay, the best answer that I got from Harsh is that for organizing code. Now, what we will do here is we will look at the problem that we have with functional programming. Okay. And then we will see how does object-oriented programming solve that problem. Okay. Fine. Let's dive into this. Now, if you look at what people are asking, what your client is asking is, let's say you're developing an employee management system. Going back to this. And in that system, currently you have only 2 employees in that company. Like how we did for problem 1, right? So we currently have only 2 employees inside this company. We have Rahul here and we also have Anjali, if you observe. So we have Rahul and we have Anjali. We have only 2 employees. And for these 2 employees, the salary is 50,000 and the department they are in is HR and finance. Okay. Now, these 2 employees data when you're storing, you can create all of these variables. We have only 6 variables, right? Which is fine. We can create 6 variables. It won't take much of space. So we will create 6 variables. In these 6 variables, we are storing the name, salary, and department of these 2 employees. Okay. Now, let's say I'm asking you write a function that is displaying all the data, all the details of these 2 employees. So you wrote a function as well. Inside that function, you are taking the name, salary, and department as arguments, and you are printing those here. Can you guys tell me why did we put F in this place? Anyone? Why are we using F here? Formatted string, yes. In Python, this is called as string formatting. Okay, fine. So going back to this problem. So we have a function that also displays all the data. Now, what if I told you 20 more employees got added into our company? Okay, we'll start creating for each everyone. We are creating 3 variables, right? So will you now start creating 60 variables? And for displaying all these people, you have to do 60 different function calls, right? See what is happening here. You are creating a lot of variables, and the problem comes in organizing all of this code. You have variables separated. You also have all the functions that you're having inside your application. All of them are separated with each other. Okay, there is no link in between these. Now, what if there is a way of combining the data with our methods? What if there was a way of combining data with our functions so that we can store everything in one single container? Okay, this question is solved by using object-oriented programming. So in object-oriented programming, what do we do is basically we create a something called as a class. And inside this class, the main goal of this is to store data and methods together in one place. And the reason why we are doing this is, in doing this, we are making organizing of our code easier. So what we do in object-oriented programming is basically we create a class, which is basically a container that is storing the data that we need for every employee. Now tell me guys, for every employee, what is the data that we need? For every employee here, what is the data that we need? For every employee, what are we storing, guys? We are storing name, yes. We are storing salary. And we are also storing departments. Now, if you observe, for every employee, this is common, right? For everyone, we are creating these 3 variables. Now, what if there was a plan? What if there was a blueprint that I can design? And from that blueprint, I can create all of this employee data. That blueprint is your class. Okay. So when someone asks you, what is a class? In object-oriented programming, what is a class? The common answer that I see people like saying is that a class is a blueprint of an object. The common answer I see is class is a blueprint of an object. Then what is an object then? See, you are answering a question with another question mark here. What exactly is an object? That you also like their interview you ask what is an object. So when someone asks you what is a class, don't just simply say that it is a blueprint of an object. A class is a collection of data and methods that we will be using inside an application. Okay. So whatever data and methods that we have inside an application, a class is a collection of that. It is a plan or a blueprint of data and methods, not of an object. This is a common mistake that everyone does. Okay. Now, what do we do in class? In class, basically, what we do is we store a blueprint of what? Of our data and also of our methods. Now, inside object-oriented programming, whatever functions we have in Python, right? These functions are called as methods. Okay. So a class has a collection of data and methods. Now, what we can do in object-oriented programming is whatever data we are storing name, salary, and department, right? We can create these three variables here. We can create name, we can create salary, and inside the same class, we'll be also creating departments. And this acts like a blueprint, it acts like a plan. When you are constructing a house, for example, when you're constructing a house, you will have a plan, right? You will say, okay, I want my bedroom here, and I want my hall to be here, and I want my kitchen to be in this corner. Okay, this can be second bedroom. Right, you will prepare a plan first, and then we will start building this house. Similarly, we are creating a plan first here. We are creating a blueprint, and from this blueprint, we will be creating multiple copies of this blueprint. We will be creating house now, and these are called as objects. Okay, so now coming back to our question, why object-oriented programming? Why exactly? The reason is because when you're using object-oriented programming, since you have data and methods together in one place, and using this blueprint only, you're creating all the different employees here. Even if you have 3 employees or if you have 30,000 employees, everyone is following the same blueprint. Everyone has the same copy, right? See how easy the organizing your code becomes here. Let's say you're using this functional programming instead of object-oriented programming, you use functional programming. Let's say I asked you now, add one more data here for every employee. Now you also need to add employee ID. What will you do here? If I'm asking you to add employee ID as well, you have to update each and every employee, right? You have to create again. If you have 60 employees, you have to create 60 more variables. Coming to object-oriented programming here, since we have a blueprint and using this blueprint only, we are creating all these objects, right? So you can simply modify the blueprint here. Here itself, we can say add one more variable ID. And since everyone is using the same copy, everyone will also have now ID. Okay. So this is why we use object-oriented programming. So the common question we get is not what is object-oriented programming, why? Again, the focus on why here, not just what. Okay. So I hope you guys are clear on why exactly do we use object-oriented programming. Okay. So with this, let's move on to the next concept for today, which would be, and guys, in object-oriented programming, the way we create classes is by using a keyword of class. I hope you guys know about this syntax, right? So we create a class here, and the class is employee. So we are basically creating a plan here, and the plan's name is employee. We have given a name for our plan. And inside that plan, we are having three variables here, and those variables are name, salary, and department. And we also have one function display, which takes all of these three variables, displays that. And coming to creating objects from this particular class, we simply say class name and then give you a parenthesis. And then since we are saving these three variables as well, you pass those variables here. Now, if you observe, whatever employees you are creating, even if you are creating like 10,000 employees, you are creating all those employees using the same class. Everyone will have the same structure. Everyone also has access to this function display. Everyone can use all of these features now. And if you want to modify any of the features, it will be modified for everyone at once. So if I add one more function here, for example, let's say I added one more feature, def show salary. So I'm asking you now to show me just the salary, not all the details. Okay. So inside this, I can say print self dot salary. So I'm using this function to print all the details. I'm using this function to print only the salary here. And since we are having the same copy is being given for all the employees, we have the same plan for all the employees, right? Everyone will now have access to show salary. Okay. So I hope you guys are clear now on why exactly do we use object-oriented programming. See, basically, it is better if you have applications that are data heavy. If you're getting a lot of data, managing that data becomes very difficult when you're using functional programming. So we switch to OOPS. Again, these are just concepts. They are just different styles of writing code. Okay, like everyone has their own handwriting, right? And whatever handwriting you're writing in you can understand that, but the other person may not. So like how we have different languages, we have different accents, we have different handwritings. These are just different ways of writing code. You can achieve this using functional programming as well, but it becomes difficult to manage that. Okay. All right, guys. With this, we will move on to the final question for today. Okay, and since we have limited amount of time, we will close our workshop at 6 exactly. And before we close, I want to introduce a very important person. Okay, and before that, let's look at this final question. And after we are done with this, I will introduce you to our op. Yeah. So I will introduce you guys to our head of career counseling here at Innomatics. Okay, and he will be basically guiding you on how we are in innovatics, improving people's lives, improving students' lives by providing them many placement opportunities and making them interview ready. Okay. So again, let's look at the final question for today. What exactly is exception handling? Again, not what, why. Okay. So attendance, notes, and docx. I didn't get you, Vivek. What exactly are you trying to ask here? Okay, Vivek. Yeah, and I get it now. So you're asking basically to share the material, right? As I have said before, all of this material will be shared to you, okay, via your mails. Once the workshop is done, we will be sharing all the resources as well. So you don't have to worry about that. Now, let's see why exception handling. Not what, but why. Let's look at the problem again. Let's say you're developing a calculator. Okay. Now, look at this code. Yes. So you're trying to divide 100 with 0. Can we divide any number with 0 in math? What is the answer of this? Any guesses? People in chat, any guesses? Answer for this when we try to divide 100 with 0. Okay, undefined. Infinite. Okay, interesting. Not defined. Okay, fine. The answer that we get for this particular code is 0 division error. See, we cannot divide any value with 0. That is not possible in math. It is also not possible in Python. So when you try to do that, Python will simply throw an error saying that, okay, boss, you cannot do this. Okay. So when you try to run this code, let's see what happens. Python is simply saying that 0 division error. Okay, division by 0. Now let's say along with this, I'm also doing some more operations. I'm not just using division. Here I'm also doing addition, A plus B. Okay. I understand that A by B gives us an error, but A plus B should be possible, right? It should be possible. But what is happening here? Before we even move on to A plus B, in the previous line itself, we are getting an error. And if I run this code again, A plus B is also not getting executed. See? So the reason why we use exception handling is if an code, whatever you're running, if there are errors in that code. Okay. So in your code, if you find any errors, instead of telling Python to handle those errors, you are using exception handling to handle those errors yourself. So why exception handling is to handle errors yourself. And when you do this, you will get one very interesting thing here. When you handle errors yourself, what happens in Python is it doesn't stop your code from executing. You are the one handling this error, right? You can tell Python, okay, when I am the one handling this error now. I don't want you to stop the code. I want you to simply say print, and in print you can say division by zero. So when you do this, when you handle that error yourself, Python will run your code, and instead of stopping here, Python will continue. So the reason why we use exception handling is not just to handle the errors, but also tell Python, okay, boss, I am handling the error. I'm telling you what to do. After this, don't stop. Continue executing the code. And the way we do that is by using try and except blocks in Python. So let's look at the solution for this. Yeah. So if you observe here, whatever code that we have written that now inside a block called try. And in except, we are telling Python, okay, boss, expect this error to come when I run this code. And if I get this error, then instead of stopping, print cannot divide by zero. And then I can say also perform A plus B. Okay. Now when I run this, if you observe, we are getting that error cannot divide by zero, but Python is not stopping here. Python is running A plus B as well. So both of the things are happening. Okay. Now guys, finally, so since we have limited amount of time, we will stop here today. And tomorrow will be a very interesting session as we discussed. And your certificates, your notes, whatever you are expecting will be provided tomorrow only after completing the workshop. This is a 2 days workshop, right? Yes, Dhanvantri. Yes, that is the reason why we handle exceptions ourselves. Okay. So before we close today's session, let me introduce you guys to our head of career counseling team here in Innomatics, and he is going to talk to you guys about few things. So let me just stop sharing my screen, and I'll hand it over to him. And guys, before you leave, you guys need to fill a Google form as well, attendance form. Okay. So I would request you guys to stay in call for 5 minutes, fill this attendance form, and then only you guys can leave the call. And to get your certificates, it is very important that you are filling this form. Okay. Again, at the end of this session, you will be shared a QR code, which will be your attendance form. All right, guys. So I'm handing over to Mr. Ishwar here. I'll see you guys tomorrow. And meanwhile, he'll speak to you guys about the career counseling that we have here in Innomatics. And at the end of the session, we'll be sharing one Google form, one QR code, which you have to fill for attendance. Okay.
Yeah, hi guys. My name is Ishwar and I'm the head of career counseling team here.
So I hope like everyone has interacted very good in this session. So I have seen a lot of people has given a lot of answers when the sir is asking you. So this shows that definitely a lot of you has got some knowledge regarding the full stack development and how you have to prepare for your interview. So I hope everyone enjoyed this session. So and lastly, I want to talk about the interviews only. So like here actually like the session was organized from Inomatics Research Labs, but the full stack development course will be delivered through Full Stack Experts Academy, which is an initiative of Inomatics Research Labs. So I hope you everyone can see my screen, right? Yeah. So here, what I want to tell you is, so many of the students who are participating in this session, so mostly they are looking for the interview preparation, right? So it clearly shows that so many of you are seeking for jobs. So when you are seeking for jobs, yes, definitely preparation is must and should. So when you are preparing for the interviews, so many of the students, I see that they will be looking for the help of most of the edutechs. So why they rely on edutechs is, so generally in your colleges, you will be learning basics. So and most of the cases, students may not have that seriousness in the college, and they finally realize that they have to learn the skills in order to crack the interviews. That is the reason where students will be seeking the help of the institutes to join the course and to get a job, right? So here, Inomatics, like Full Stack Experts Academy, both we will be doing the same. So in this session, what I want to tell you is like we were being established in the year of 2017. Since there, we were delivering almost all 600 plus batches into data science and full stack development. So here we were helping to place like almost all 10,000 plus students, and we were being collaborated with 10,000 plus companies for providing placements to the students. Okay. So and coming to the point, so like I was talking about the interview preparation part and choosing the institutes where students will be struggling, right? So here in this program, what I want to talk is, so like many of the institutes, so like they will be telling you that we will be providing the good quality, good education, and all these things. So, but many of the institutes fail to do. So, just a minute, guys. So many of the institutes, what they do is they will tell you that they will be providing you the live classes. So before you choose the right institute, what I want to suggest you is you have to check for few things. So and I wanted to talk here what we are delivering in Full Stack Experts Academy. So generally we will be providing you every day 2 hours of live classes and followed by one-on-one mentoring sessions. So when you are attending the classes, most of the students may be able to understand the class in the duration of the training, but when they are getting practice, definitely they will be having a lot of doubts. So in order to get those doubts cleared, you will be having a need of a mentor. So here we will be providing you the one-on-one mentoring sessions for 4 hours every day. So most of the institutes promise the same, but they fail to deliver. Please check before you join the institutes. And here we will be preparing you for the technical skill set. Along with that, we will be helping you to build your resume. We will be helping you to build your projects. We will help you to crack the interviews. So it means we are helping you to prepare for the interviews as well. So here, after the making you prepare for the interviews, we will be providing you the direct company interviews through Full Stack Experts Academy. You need not to go for any campus drives or else off campus pool drives, all these things. So we do have the company collaborations, as I said. So the companies will be coming directly to our institute. So here in our branch, you will be participating in the drives. Okay. So yeah. So wherever you are willing to join, so what I want to suggest you is you just compare these five main points before you joining to that institute. First thing is curriculum. So why curriculum is very important is wherever you go for the interview, definitely they will be asking you the updated skill set, right? So many of the institutes, they may teach you any of the programming language in full stack and they may tell you that this is the full stack program. But actually industry requires
lot of knowledge, right? So, and nowadays there is a lot of competition in the market. In order to survive in that competition, so you need to have the knowledge of the entire full stack, like front end, back end. You will need to have the knowledge of deployment. As in the session, someone asked that. So that guy has attended the TCS interview. So where they were asking for the AWS related questions. So when you are attending for the full stack development related interview, but still the interviewer is asking for you the AWS related questions, which clearly states that you need to have the knowledge of all the points which are revolving around the full stack. That is the reason we teach you front end, back end, and we will teach you the deployment. We will teach you the DSA. And nowadays AI is booming everywhere. As you know that, so AI is going to be there for the long duration. So that is the reason we have added generative AI, which is very trending in the market. And not only adding, we were delivering those topics in your curriculum as well. So and even we were helping you to do the projects based on the generative AI as well. So when you go for the interviews, definitely this is an added advantage in your resume. And next thing, trainers. So most of the interviews, like what they are doing is they are failing to provide the proper training. So because they don't have the right quality trainers or else industry experts. So here we do have the real-time industry experts. So as you have seen our sir, he has delivered the concepts. Many people have seen they are interacting very well in the session. So which clearly shows that how our trainer quality is. So in the same way, you also try to check about the trainers wherever you wanted to join. And next thing is mentoring sessions. So many of the institutes, they say that they do have the mentoring sessions, but they fail to deliver. Why? Because they are majorly focusing on delivering many batches. So morning 9 to 11, they will have a class. 11:30 to 1:30, they will have a class. 2 to 6, they will have a class. 4 to 6, they will have a class. 8 to 10, they will have a class. So morning to night, you will have all the slots of classes, but where you will be having a time to sit and practice when they have the continuous slots for teaching. Definitely you will not be having any time to sit and practice, and you will not even they will not provide you any mentor or trainer. Why? Because their trainers and mentors are occupied in delivering the classes. But here in Inomatics, we do have a dedicated mentoring sessions. And coming to the projects, so here we will be teaching you the technical subject, and along with that we will help you to build your own projects. So not only we will help you to build your projects, in the same way we are also asking our students to post all the projects in their LinkedIn. You can search for Inomatics Research Labs. You can check how many students they are posting their projects in their LinkedIn, so that you will understand how good they are doing. So not only Inomatics, wherever the institute you want to join, you just check their LinkedIn. So compare the projects. So whether they are doing the projects or not, and whether if they are doing the projects, what kind of projects they are doing. So you try to compare all these things. Why? Because many of the institutes, they are failing to do the projects. Why? Because so they may have one project and they are asking all the students to do the single project. So that is the reason their students will not be able to post that project in the LinkedIn. So but here in Inomatics, so every student has to do separate project, and all those projects they are posting in their LinkedIns. So this gives the professional portfolio look to the interviewer, right? So nowadays, every interviewer or else every student, they are keeping their LinkedIn portfolios and GitHub portfolios in their resume. So whenever interviewer sees your portfolio, definitely they will understand that, yeah, this guy has learned something, or else this guy has certain knowledge on the full stack. Okay, I can take the interview, kind of impression will be generated to the interviewer. That is the reason. So doing the projects is very important. And last thing is placements. So all the institutes, they may promise you for the placement, but many of the institutes fail to deliver the placements. Why? Because so they are failing to deliver the real-time curriculum. So they don't have the proper syllabus. So they don't even train on the real-time industry projects. So they don't teach you with the live assignments and all these things. That is the reason they are failing to provide the placements as well. So if someone is really interested in joining any of the courses, or else if someone is interested for searching for the institutes to join for the course, so you can take the screenshot of this page, wherever the institute, whatever the institute, or else whatever your considerations are there. You just check these 5 questions. If they are delivering, then that is a good institute. I'm not telling you to join in Inomatics or Full Stack Experts Academy. I'm just suggesting you just try to check all these 5 aspects in any institute. Wherever you find the best, you can join there. Okay. And finally, like if someone is really interested for having any career guidance or career counseling, so you can talk with our expert. So you can find his name and number displayed, Charan Mitta, and his name, you can see his number. So you can have a screenshot of this page as well. He is our lead career counselor. So where he is having almost all 4 to 5 years of experience in handling the students, and he has guided many of the students in keeping them in a right way. So I hope, like, if you talk with this counselor, you will also have a clear-cut idea about how to choose your career path. And based on your education background, which path will be suitable for you. All these things will be explained by him. So you can call him at any time. So this is his number. If not, even if you are having any doubts, you can directly reach out to the institute as well. I have displayed the institute address as well, which is very near to JNT College Metro Station, so that you can have a in-person counseling session as well. So yeah. So I hope this session finds a very good for all of you. So, and tomorrow again you will be having a day two workshop. So where many of the students who are asking for all the PDFs and all, so will be shared tomorrow. And even the certificate things, whatever the there, you have to attend tomorrow's session as well in order to get your attendance. Based on your attendance only, you will be getting the certificates. Yeah. So just a minute, guys. Just 1 minute, guys. I'm sharing you the QR code where you can scan for your attendance. So all these 2 hours time, so what you have spent here, so will be added value by just filling that QR code. So please stay for 1 minute. I'm sharing that so that you can fill it, so that it will be marked as your attendance.
All right, guys. So back to me. Let me share my screen. I'll share you the QR code. Please scan it and fill that form. That will track your attendance. And if you have any questions as well, we will stay online for 5 more minutes. That will be your Q&A round. If you have any questions, you can ask. Meanwhile, let me share my screen. And here you can fill your attendance. I hope you guys can see the QR code. Guys, just let me know in chat if you can see my screen and if the QR code is visible or not. And also, if you have any questions, you can ask now. Okay, fine. Thank you, Varshini. Again, guys, we will stay online for 5 more minutes. And in this time, you can ask your doubts. After 5 minutes, we'll close our call. It's not scanning. Let me check. Yes, yeah. Punch money, yes. Victory, no scanning. Again, guys, make sure you have internet turn on, everything. Scan it using a scanner app. In your phone, if you have an option directly to scan your QR codes, use that option. Or you can just open camera. It will show you the QR code link as well. Or you can use Google Lens. Sometimes Google Lens does not scan properly. You can just open Google Lens and using that scan this QR code. Yes, yes, that's why I said Google Lens sometimes gives issues. Google Lens does not scan sometimes. Just open your camera app. If you just point it to this screen, your camera app will only directly ask you to open this link. It will open a Google Forms link. You can use that. Yeah, Panjwani. So thank you for sharing it in chat as well. Guys, in chat, if you can see, I hope everyone, if for everyone it is visible. Panchmani has shared a Google Forms link. Just open that link and fill your form. This will count as attendance for today. Nikhil, no need to worry. Even if you're 2022 pass out, you can like get connected with our career counselor here. We have very good HRs. We have very good career counselors that know how to convince companies. Okay. So even if you are 2022 pass out, you can contact these people. Like I hope you have noted that number of yeah. So you can contact those people. You can talk to them. They have very good connections. They know how to talk to companies. They know how to talk to company HRs and convince them. So if you have the right skills, even though you have a gap, you will definitely get a job if you have the right skills. All right, guys. I hope everyone has filled their form, attendance form. So with this, we are closing today's session. Again, tomorrow is going to be a very interesting one. We will be having a live demo. So we will build a full stack application, small full stack application tomorrow. And we will also see what do we need to learn in content tomorrow. Okay. So with this, thank you everyone for joining. See you guys tomorrow.